This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred, racist division. This is a man who, in fact, you talk about helping African Americans. 1 in 1,000 African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year, 1 in 500 will have been killed. 1 in 500 African Americans. This man is a savior of African Americans. This man cares at all. This man's done virtually nothing.
I would do stop and frisk. I think you have to. We did it in New York. It worked incredibly well. And you have to be proactive.
But New York abandoned the tactic, which some argue encourages racial profiling by police.
It's so unsafe where you walk down the street and you get shot or your child gets shot.
They did a crime bill, 1994, where you call them super predators, African Americans, the super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Joe.
No, sir, it's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they call you a super predator. You have treated the African American population community, you have treated the black community about as bad as anybody in this country, and you know it, and so does everybody else. And he would know.
What is radical about racial sensitivity training?
If you were a certain person, you had no status in life. It was sort of a reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas and frankly very sick ideas. And really, they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen.
President Clinton was confronted by protesters who appear to be from Black Lives Matter. They were upset about gun violence laws Clinton had passed when he was in office 20 years ago. But he fired back, getting into a heated exchange for nearly 15 minutes.
Wow.
You are defending the people who kill the lives you say matter. Tell the truth. You are defending the people who cause young people to go out and take guns. I listen to them, and they don't want to listen to me. You will never learn anything when you're talking.
Critics say Clinton's anti-crime bill led to mass incarcerations disproportionately affecting African Americans.
So the Democratic Party promised to limit federal government intervention on behalf of black citizens. Democrats became effectively the only political party in the South, aided by intimidation and suppression of black voters. Democrats also won on state and local levels, leading to the constant abuse of the rights of black citizens.
He allowed first-degree murderers to have weekend passes from prison. One was Willie Horton, who murdered a boy in a robbery, stabbing him 19 times. Horton fled, kidnapped a young couple, stabbing the man and repeatedly raping his girlfriend. Weekend prison passes. Dukakis on crime.
The 30-second ad was aimed at painting Dukakis as weak on crime, and it used photos of Horton in a way that played into racist stereotypes linking crime and black men. Critics say it encouraged race-based politics.
The insinuation is, if you elect Governor Dukakis as president, we're going to have black rapists running amok in the country, right? So it's playing to white fears about black crime.
I would like to address a few remarks to those groups who still adhere to senseless racism and religious prejudice. I would say to them, you are the ones who are out of step with our society. You are the ones who willfully violate the meaning of the dream that is America. And this country, because of what it stands for, will not stand for your conduct.
On the heels of President Trump using disparaging imagery to describe African nations, new tapes have just been released by the National Archives that reveal similar language used by the late President Ronald Reagan. So let me take you back to 1971, and it was Reagan, who was, by the way, the governor of California at the time, was on the phone with then President Richard Nixon. And so during this conversation, Reagan referred to leaders of African nations as, quote, monkeys. And then President Nixon gets in his own dig.
And last night, I tell you, to watch that thing on television as I did, to see those monkeys from those African countries, damn them, they're still uncomfortable wearing shoes. Well, and then the tail wags the dog there, doesn't it? Yeah. The tail wags the dog.
I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, did he endorse me or what's going on? Because, you know, I know nothing about David Duke.
What do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
You know, I know nothing about David Duke.
And I've always said, Matt, that I would run if I thought I could win, and in order to win...
Not only the nomination, but the presidency.
The whole thing. I don't want to get 20% of the vote, and I think I could, and I know I could get the nomination. I mean, New York wants me, Texas wants me, many of the states want me, and they're rather devastated because they don't like the alternatives. But
he once said when he was in the Oval Office, America would be respected around the globe. That isn't happening. Just the opposite, actually, according to polls. And that will be even worse now that he has called Africa, El Salvador, and Haiti shitholes.
The African American community has been let down by our politicians. They talk good around election time, like right now. And after the election, they said, see you later, I'll see you in 4 years. The African American community, look, the community within the inner cities has been so badly treated. They've been abused and used in order to get votes by Democrat politicians, because that's what it is. They've controlled these communities for up to 100 years.
Mr. Trump, let me...
Unbroken.